Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be covering should you play Shadowlands as a Classic player. Now I myself have been playing Classic pretty much non-stop since the game came out, but recently I tried Shadowlands, the new retail WoW expansion, and I've really been having a lot of fun. So I thought I'd make a video going over kind of the pros and cons of the new expansion, how it compares to previous retail expansions, and also I guess go through whether or not it would be a game that you might like, because there's still some things that really differ from the older style of game, whether it be Classic, TBC, Wrath. The game is very, very different. So I'm going to be kind of going down this list of topics and explaining why I've been having a lot of fun playing Shadowlands and why you might also. But then also at the end, some things that might also be deal breakers for you. So let's start first with the big shifts in my opinion. The biggest deal for me, and the reason why I'm excited to play the game, is because PvP is back. PvP is looking so much better than it used to, and alts are looking amazing. The game does not feel very grindy, and that is the big things for me. I hated BFA, the prior expansion, because it was very grindy and PvP was really bad in my opinion. Gearing I felt was really bad. I thought it played poorly. There was PvP scaling, really slow paced matches. All of that is better now, right? The PvP facing, the games are faster paced. There are some balance concerns. I think a lot of classes are overpowered right now, and we'll see how that continues to, I guess, move forward. But it's still better than these incredibly grindy long games, and it's really a breath of fresh air to have these really fast-paced arena games, fast-paced battleground PvP. People are dying quicker, so it's really, really good job. They did a much better job with the pacing. Now that there's no PvP scaling, I feel like that's really helped eliminate a lot of the slow, grindy games. So that's really exciting to me. PvP vendors are back, which is amazing. You can gear solely through PvP if you like. Now, there's still, unfortunately, seems like you might get a little bit of an edge if you do Raid and Mythic Plus, just in gearing a little bit faster right out the gate, but you can still pretty much exclusively PvP. There's a couple exceptions. There are a few things you need to track down. You might have to raid a few times to get a specific recipe, or do the raid a few times to get a specific conduit, but that's too complicated to get into. But there might be a couple things you have to do, but all in all, very happy with where PvP is. Much better spot than it used to be. Back over to the grind of the previous expansion. It is honestly, it feels very weird playing retail and not having a crazy amount of grinds. Basically, the only thing you have to do, as far as I see it, the only mandatory grind in the game is Torghast. To unlock your legendary, you have to do Torghast, which is like this solo dungeon run. It'll take you like maybe an hour a week per character. That's it. You have daily quests. You don't have to do them. Like, I actually have a daily quest right now. It expires in a day and 15 hours. Honestly, I probably won't do it. If I do it, I'll just do it while I'm in queue for BGs or in queue for arenas, but I'm not actually going out and doing these dailies. I don't care about them. There's also dailies in the Maw. You can slowly work towards adding sockets to your gear. I'll probably do some of these here and there, but I don't really care about that either. It takes a really long time to get sockets, and it's a small improvement to your character, but it is something you can do. But there's really very few grinds you have to do, and that means that you can level as many characters as you want. There's not a crazy upkeep on each of them. Right now I have a 60 rogue, a 60 shaman. I'm leveling a warrior. I feel like I had a great experience on the shaman, got him geared up quick, was able to just jump right into things. The catch-up systems are good. The legendary, we'll see how the legendary goes. It doesn't currently look like with the legendary you catch up super fast. We'll see what happens there. But with the campaign, the story campaign, you can catch up even if you missed a week. And so while everyone's waiting for the campaign to advance to the next week, if you just started, you can actually blaze through the whole thing and catch up. So I'm happy with the catch-up systems. I'm happy Everything is alt friendly. It's really nice feeling like there's not all these grinds over your head. There's very little that you actually have to do. So all in all, really happy with that. Next, I want to talk about, I guess, some of retail things that I didn't really mention as a bullet point here. But again, the dungeons have been fun. The raids are generally very good. The raid is not out yet. It comes out tomorrow. Same thing with the arena season. So this is the 2-week review right before all the gates open and all the rated content and more challenging, difficult content comes out. But, I've made my legendary. I've been doing PvP, been doing dungeons. I've been having a good time. And I guess I should mention the legendary system. The legendary system I really like. It can be a little annoying to get the patterns. You have to find a pattern for your legendary, which can come from all different places. So you might get a legendary pattern that's annoying to get. But besides that, you get to pick the stats on your legendary, and you get to pick the effect once you have the pattern, which means there's no RNG. It's not like Legion. You don't get a bad legendary. You don't get unlucky, nothing like that. You're going to get your legendary, and then you can either keep upgrading it or you can keep making more legendaries to swap around. So I really like that a lot. Really happy about the legendary system. Wanted to mention that as well. So those are a lot of the things that I've been enjoying with Shadowlands, but obviously retail is a very different game than classic. So I also want to talk about the things that might be deal breakers for you when you're considering the game. One thing I'll just mention is the different aesthetic. The zones have very varied aesthetics. There's different, color schemes for all of them. But one thing I have heard from a lot of classic players is they just don't like the colors at all. Too bright, too cloudy, too sunny, all these angels and stuff. This is just one of the zones, but a lot of classic players do not like the aesthetic of retail. It's more cartoony, more Disney character. You've got fairies and they're kind of giggling and telling all these jokes and stuff. It's not really the same theme as the classic theme, where it was a little darker, a little more serious, and I would almost say a little more realistic. You don't have all these crazy mounts everywhere and crazy transmog and costumes and everything like that. But maybe that is something that you enjoy. For me, I'm not a fan of all the retail, aesthetic, but I don't really care about the aesthetics of the games I play. I'm more into the gameplay. Another thing I'd mention is the mini games. There's a lot of annoying mini games, dumb things you have to do in the game. I don't know why they do it, but retail kind of treats you like you have a short attention span, and they give you all these mini games. Like you can see here, we got like a Facebook game where I'm dragging units out, they fight, and yeah, it's just kind of lame. I think I lost that fight, but you just drag out mission. It's like they have some of these mini games within the game, and there's like a Flappy Bird world quest. There's world quests where you have to throw these little goblin dudes into a dumpster or into a tree, and they'll cut down the tree. There's these weird mini games, and it's to me, I want to play World of Warcraft. I think it takes away from the experience, but maybe that's not a thing that bothers you. Let's talk about the community. Retail is still a very lonely game, and I would not recommend playing retail on your own. What I mean by that is, if you don't know anyone playing retail, I would strongly recommend taking very explicit strides to find people to play with. Go out of your way to make sure you get into a guild that does the type of content you enjoy. Make sure once you're in the guild that you actually talk to people and make friends and stuff, because the game is really, really awful to pug. It's not a good pug game. It's really lonely. You're not going to recognize people. It's not like Classic where you're on the same server as everyone and you see everyone and you're going to see them tomorrow, and you can be the blacksmith of the server and that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen in retail. In retail, I've got a bunch of people where are these people? My tooltips are getting blocked here, but all of these different servers, we have someone from Illidan here, got someone from Kel'Thuzad, got someone from Sargeras. I'm not on either of those servers. I'm on Area 52. But yet I see all these people from all these different servers. The big servers have a crazy amount of players on them too. So it's just a very different feel. Oh, I realized I was typing W's in my pad there. Lastly, I will talk about covenants and too many systems. One con I really am not a fan of is there's a covenant system in the game. When you hit max level, you have to choose a zone to like kind of partner with or to join. I could have gone with the Necrolords. There are all these dead dudes, bones, undead theme, all this cool stuff. I could have gone with vampires. Could have gone with fairies, but I went with these guys. They're like blue Kyrian dudes. It's like a paladin place. It's just paladin stuff. They're all noble and nice to everyone and kumbaya. I don't like the zone, but it's the best one for my character. So I don't like the covenant system because I feel like you're not able to choose a covenant that best reflects the way you would want your character. Like I would choose Necrolord. I would like my character to be in the undead zone and doing all that stuff. But instead, I went with Kyrian because it's better for PvP. And ultimately, I'm going to choose the ability that is going to give me the best chance to do well in PvP because that's my focus in the game. And it is what it is. A Kyrian kind of sucks. Not a fan of the covenant system because you have to make choices based on your players, your character's power level that affect like cosmetics, and they affect the theme of stuff you're doing. So I think it's unfortunate. They're trying to make it difficult to switch between them quickly too. So I can't like switch to Necrolord, get the armor, and switch to this place for the ability. I would lose everything I gained. So that's an unfortunate system. Another problem with this system is you're making the choice and they want to have it permanent. And so if you multi-spec, it's hard to choose a covenant that's good for both specs for some classes. Like I like Enhancement Shaman right now and Restoration Shaman on my alt, and I have to choose between Necrolord and Venthyr, and I've already made the swap from Necrolord to Venthyr because I didn't like it for enhancement. So now, it kind of sucks. It feels like I'm playing suboptimally in Resto because I want to play optimally for enhancement, which kind of sucks. And it's not like a legendary where, okay, I can choose an enhancement legendary, and then down the line I can make an elemental legendary or a Resto legendary and catch up. There's no catching up. They currently have no plans to let you ever use the abilities of multiple covenants at a time. So not a fan of that system. And then ultimately, I just want to mention there's too many systems, right? This is the end of my pad, so I'll close it, and I can kind of show you some of the systems I'm talking about. Right now, you have a character, right? You choose the gear. The gear is pretty basic. You're basically just picking the order in which you want your secondary stats. Like for me as a rogue, I want versatility and mastery, and stuff like haste and crit aren't as good, at least in PvP. So that's like step one of customization. Step two is I pick my legendary, right? And I picked a legendary that's good for quick burst. Step three, you pick a covenant. The covenant will give you a class ability and an ability that everyone gets. This one gives me potions. Step four is soulbinds, which are these trees here. And you can have multiple different trees, right? Step five is where you go in the soulbinds. You can go down this path. You can go down this path. You can switch it at any point in a rested zone. Step six is then you can control these customizable modifiers, right? So for example, when I'm playing my subtlety rogue, I'm using this thing that increases my echoing reprimand damage, which is a really OP ability that the Kyrian people have. But when I'm playing outlaw, for example, I'm playing count the odds, and that's a good one. And I can swap in and out different abilities. Now, if you're confused, trust me, everyone is. There's too many systems. While all of this is happening, we have, I'm sure I missed other stuff. You still have enchants, and you still have, other things that factor into the character that I'm sure I forgot. But the point is, there's a lot of systems intertwining. There's a lot of stuff converging. Oh, did I show talents? That's what it was. Talents. You also have a talent tree in which you always get to pick one ability per row, and then you also have a PvP specific pool of talents where you choose 3 of like 10 options. So there's a lot of different customization, and it's overwhelming, and there's too many things. But the upside is that you can be very unique in your configuration. So if I really wanted to, there's not a lot of talents for survivability, but I could like try and be the tankiest rogue that you can think of, and I could take some defensive PvP talents. I could go into my Soulbind. I could go with a defensive Soulbind in general, like the whole tree is called the Soulbind. Then I could go with a defensive Conduit and a defensive active. Like you just go down everything, and you can go a full defensive setup. I could go a defensive legendary as well if I wanted. And so what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of systems, there's a lot of complexity, there's a lot going on, but it does give you flexibility, and you are able to make choices and vary your character from everyone else if that's something you want to do. You also could have picked, a Covenant that would make me tankier. So like I could have picked a Covenant like Necrolord, which gives me a shield to become even tankier. But you can see there's a lot of menus. There's a lot of things going on. I mentioned legendaries. There's a ton of different legendary powers. It can be overwhelming. But I just want to leave you with, it's fun. It's fun. For me, it's fun. The game's fun. You got all these problems. There's all these things wrong with the game. I don't think retail is ever going to fix a lot of the problems they have. I mean, they don't even let you loot stuff normally. They have personal loot now, where you do a dungeon and the loot just shows up in your bags, and that's going to feel really weird. And it's I don't know why they have it that way, but at the end of the day, the gameplay is fun. There's a lot of different fun classes to play. A lot of people I've talked to are having a hard time picking a main because there's so many fun options available. And the PvP is good. The dungeons have still been fun. The raids, I've heard good things about, that the raid is going to be good. So how I view it is, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm playing retail in favor of classic right now because I'm just enjoying the gameplay a lot. But I do, I gotta look away. I gotta try and ignore things. Like I don't really think about it too much that I have to pick Kyrian and that I'm with all these angels in this little paladin zone when I'm a rogue. And I try and look past it, enjoy the gameplay, do dungeons, do PvP, battleground, just having a good time playing the game. And I'm able to overlook some of the flaws, but that might not be something you're able to do. But anyway, that's my review of Shadowlands from a classic player's point of view. Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to check my Twitch channel down in the description if you want to see me playing Shadowlands. Feel free to ask any questions there. I've been playing Shadowlands pretty much every day, and I'm still raiding Naxxramas on Fridays and Saturdays as well in Classic. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time.